Hello, my name is Kara Warburton, and this is part 3 in a 4-part series about micro-content. This was the last slide shown in part 2, so let's move forward. Okay, if you are proactive in identifying your key terms and in using them consistently, in translating them, and so forth, then you are building better content from the ground up, starting with the elementary units, which are micro-content. It's a bottom-up content management strategy. This avoids or minimizes problems of a top-down approach, where issues in word usage can occur, and they may not be discovered until very late in the content management cycle, if at all, where they're often widespread and more costly to fix. Content that is more consistent at this micro level is more repurposable. You can reuse or recycle more of your content, such as in translation memories, when the content is standardized at a granular level. This actually saves money in production costs. With search keyword management, your content will be easier to find and will rank higher in internet search. And clear, consistent messaging is simply better. It's more engaging, more impactful. People will get your message quickly and easily in all languages. Now, from a technical standpoint, I think that micro-content has 3 properties that larger pieces of content, like sentences and paragraphs, do not. Micro-content is univocal, discrete, and infinitely reusable. Let me now say a few words about each of these properties. Univocal means that the content has a single meaning. For example, the concept of a hybrid cloud can be clearly defined and even illustrated visually. But what about those words that have more than one meaning, you might ask? For example, the word cloud itself refers figuratively to the internet and concretely to the actual clouds in the sky. This property of a word having multiple meanings is called polysemy. Polysemy is very common in languages like English. I'm not saying that words are univocal, no. What I'm saying is that micro-content is small pieces of text that are based on a single meaning. So the word cloud, when referring to the internet, is one instance of micro-content, and the word cloud, referring to those things in the sky, is yet another instance of micro-content. We are, in this case, actually talking about 2 different terms which happen to have the same surface form, C-L-O-U-D. Micro-content is univocal, whereas we can't say this about sentences, paragraphs, or documents. The next property is discreteness. The word discrete is often associated with data. Discrete data is minimalist. It can't be further subdivided. It has stable properties, and it can be managed as self-contained units. Micro-content also has these properties. I've often said that micro-content can be managed in a database the same way that numerical data can. Perhaps this example here can help illustrate the reusability of micro-content. Here we have a website describing the concept of gamification. Of course, the term gamification is repeated often. You can see it highlighted here in yellow, and it even appears in the figure. The word also forms longer terms such as gamification service, gamification concept, and gamification rule. Obviously, it makes sense to use these terms consistently and to find appropriate, logical, and consistent translations in other languages. So you can imagine that if you have encoded in a specific resource the translations of this term and provided that resource to translators, I think there is a huge reuse potential in that little bit of information. So in order to do that, we need to take this word out of its context, the context you see here, which is its physical location in a web page. So looking something like this is just obviously an illustration of a highlighted entry in a dictionary, but this is what it might look like, figuratively speaking, when it is taken out of context. Taking this word out of its physical location buried in the text and treating it as a separate entity and making this information available to your employees as a resource in the tools that they use makes it possible to enforce consistency and good translations. So this is the end of part 3. In part 4, I'll show you more about how you can take these micro content pieces out of context and manage them properly. So please join me for part 4. Thank you.